I live in Washington, D.C. I am an engineer. I'm also prior military. Um,
You're also into a lot of politics, also, right?
yes.
So how is that working?
Well, it is. I love politics. We don't realize that majority of everything around us is based on politics, policies, and legislation. So this is what protects us. So I'm heavy into politics. Of
Do you find any hindrances in you being a gay man or in in politics?
course not. No, no, because politics isn't based on your sexual preference. It's based on your qualifications and resume. So
Can you explain it to some people who may not understand your lifestyle?
um absolutely. My lifestyle is full of it's filled with going hiking, rock climbing, to the gun range, live concerts, traveling to different countries, um, Dubai, South Africa, Mexico, teleworking in different countries. Going to the Black Caucus in DC, going to the Black galas. Yeah, so I think that I'm convinced that my lifestyle isn't much different from others.
Yeah. Did you always know you were gay? Is what I'm asking.
Yes, yes, I did. Um, it wasn't even when I was married to my ex-wife, I still knew that I was attracted to men. Because of our society, I think that um, I did the same thing that other men are still doing. Some husbands that people are married to and probably watching this while they're in the bed with their husband. Um, I was just more bold to actually come out and live my truth.
Was it hard?
Um, not really. Well, not really. I think it's hard to live your truth when you don't love yourself.
Yeah.
Um, but when you love everything about you, it's like I love being black. I love being a black male. I love being me, gay, and all. And so when you love yourself, it's kind of hard to like fight internally.
Did you consider yourself down low, or did you consider yourself more or less just not accepting? What are your feelings on that?
So I wasn't down low because the definition for a DL slash down low male is that he is actually with his wife or partner, female, whoever, and he's still sleeping with men. So when I was married, I never cheated at all.
Oh,
I
okay.
stuck outside of my marriage. But for those that are down low, um, I actually feel sorry for them. I really do because you are hating who you are, and because of that, I always say that if you're with a male and he is always angry, you know, at you and himself, and he's never happy, but whenever he goes around his best male friend, he finds this newfound joy that wasn't there before. Take note of that he is somewhat escaping to a partial truth that he could temporarily live.
Okay.
Um, and there's a there's a lot of down low men in New York, DC, Florida, Texas, Alabama, especially the South,
Yes.
more so the South, because it's like taboo to be gay. So I've been diagnosed for 6 months.
6 months.
Mhm.
Oh wow. So it's fairly new to you, or should I say, relatively fairly new.
Mhm.
Uh, What are some of the misconceptions that you've learned since your diagnosis?
Oh, that you are going to die. Life will change. Your body will be weakened. You can't travel as much because your immune system is constantly attacked. And I'm like, oh wow, I'm still going rock climbing. I'm still um I'm leaving next month for South Africa. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um Still have my COVID vaccine. That hasn't affected my body at all. And so
Okay.
I think there's um a lot of things that comes with just people that don't know about HIV, and they're like, oh wow, it's so yeah. But
Okay.
you're looking at someone that actually has HIV, black male. We're not poor or uneducated, or living on food stamps.
Yeah.
We are normal people, and yeah.
And you're working obviously, and you're a heavy component in your community. So, I mean, some of the misconceptions can be that you be ostracized from your community. What are some of the initial? How do I say? What are some of the initial responses when you tell people?
They're very accepting. Well, one, I live in Washington D.C., so we're like a very progressive area. D.C., New York, California. We're very progressive. You can go to the Hilton, the W Hotel, and see a sign that says Black Lives Matter on a five-star hotel where ambassadors, diplomats go, and they have a flag that says Black Lives Matter, and also a LGBT flag as well. So we're very progressive here, because we're educated. So fear and ignorance normally comes from communities that are not educated outside of their environment. But and people have been very accepting, to be honest. Yeah. We have medicine that boosts our body back to normal, and we're perfectly fine. But people with sickle cell, they're still taking the medicine, and there's nothing they can do. They're still sick. So I, I kind of look at the glass half full, and say that, oh wow, HIV has nothing um, compared to these other viruses that are actually affecting people every single day and still killing people in 2021. We actually have a medicine that stops it, but they're still dying.
Knowing that you have this life terminal disease, what has changed? Do you think you've been heightened in your senses? Do you think you've moved the exact same way? Are you more on a mission of life? What are some of the? Could you describe life?
um, Honestly, I will say that I don't think anything has changed, because I think living with HIV, it doesn't take away your virtue, and it doesn't knock you off the pedestal that you were previously at. So for me, life is exactly the same. I mean, I'm actually trying to do vegan now, but
Okay.
my life is still the same. I still want to run for
Good
Congress.
luck with that. I'm telling you.
But no, the life is the same. I'm still pushing. One day I would love to run for Congress. A dating is the same. Is DC. It's
Yeah.
not Mississippi or Louisiana. Alabama is DC. So people are educated. We have more groups here that know, once you're undetectable, you can't pass the virus at all. So yeah.
Okay. That's a very interesting standpoint. I mean, I remember early '90s. We were terrified, up in arms, not knowing what was going to happen, to, it felt like a death sentence. And you're making, I don't want to say that you're making it seem easier, but you're making it's seeming more manageable.
Hmm.
And I can see where your higher, strong beliefs in yourself are keeping you in high spirits.
Well, it's not really me that's keeping me in higher spirits. It's the medicine that we have in the Western world that's keeping me in high spirits. We've managed to knock out a lot of viruses and flus and diseases that have made it to UK, Europe, and America, and Canada as well. We always
Yeah.
forget about them. I'm sorry, Canada, but there's some neutral on everything. We just always forget about them. But no, it's not. um, it's not high spirits. It's knowing that the medicine we have now is not like when we fly to Dallas or Texas or travel, we don't use horses or we don't use rowboats or we're not traveling by like an ox. What I mean?
Yeah.
We're actually using you know TSA pre-check. You go to the airport, you check in, you, you're either driving. So everything evolves. And so the same thing with modern medicine, that also evolves as well. And so with the medicine we have for HIV, it has evolved so much that we do not live the lives, or we're not attacked like those that have sickle cell and leukemia. And my heart goes out to them. My sister has sickle cell, so I see it firsthand. Of how that's attacked, and I ask every day, why do we have medicine that is able to bring us back to top speed, but you still have a lot of these other things that like, people are going through chemo and they go through hell
Yes.
in 2021. So yeah, so it's not believing in myself, it's believing in science. I'm an engineer, so I look at black and white. So it's just believing in science and modern medicine.
Okay. That's an interesting perspective. I mean, I really appreciate you kind of breaking it down. I would.
So I would say that being gay and black and living with HIV, it hasn't changed my views because I don't have to fight for any rights for HIV. I don't have to fight for medicine for HIV. It's already out there. It's already proven that battle was fought in the 80s and
Yes.
the 90s. So my views have not changed on that the same way the views of a straight male, that's coming out and said, "Hey, I'm straight." Will his views change? Will his political views change? Of course not. So my views on HIV, there really are none, because when it comes to policy, a policy is for battles to be won, and that battle was won in the 80s. So it's not a battle that I have to fight. And my views with when it comes to politics, I think are the same as any straight um, black male in America, and it is for the enhancement of brown, black and brown lives that live in America.
Okay. Well, I didn't want it to seem like a taboo question. I just kind of wanted to give a perspective that, we're all living here in life. We're
Hmm.
not much different. We all come to the same conclusions in terms of how we want to live our lives. And it's a very personal decision. So, I wanted to kind of demystify how somehow you got, or should I say, the LGBT community is somehow getting together every weekend trying to ruin America's fabric of society. So
Well, with having HIV, like I said, I don't feel any different. I still cycle, run, lift weights, rock climb, play the piano when I'm bored. I visit down to see my son in Florida. So yeah, so for me, I really don't see any difference in my lifestyle because I'm not in the hospital, I'm not in the clinic once a week or once a month or once a year. I don't pass out. I don't have dizzy spells. There's really nothing wrong with my body at all. So at times, I kind of forget that I have HIV because physically, I'm still the same.